During times like these of swift market recovery, it's important that we identify what is fueling this growth so that we can make better decisions with our capital moving forward. Today, we're going to take a look at the market as well as some bullish news for crypto in 2022 and the peculiar case surrounding the Bitfinex hack of $3.6 billion. Hey guys, Sheldon Evans here, welcome back. Or if you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on all of those bell notifications as YouTube does censor some crypto content here on YouTube. So any help is of course appreciated. On my display right now, I have the Bitcoin US dollar chart open, and you can see that we did come back down to swipe that supply zone that I've been identifying for many months on this channel back since we first broke it on the 1st of January in 2021. We did come swipe it, and in the previous video I mentioned that it may be looking like we are forming a major bottom, and since that video we have since recovered to the upside and reclaimed that multi-month downtrend that we have highlighted here, came back down to retest it and confirmed it as support, and we're moving back upwards. But we'll talk about that in a second, as well as look at some additional charts to confirm whether this move is something that we should believe in or we are still headed into a possible crypto winter, which personally I don't think we are. Let's take a look at the overall market to get a better idea of what is going on. As you can see, pretty much everything in the 7-day is green. Many coins up 20 to 30%, Bitcoin and Ethereum up 20% each, and one coin in particular that is sticking out right now is of course XRP, up almost 50% on the 7-day. And this is of course in relation to the current ongoing case with the SEC and Ripple. So the ongoing investigation from the SEC is concluding soon, and the wind is blowing favorably for Ripple. The SEC alleges that Ripple executives raised more than $1.3 billion through an unregistered digital asset security offering using XRP, and many legal luminaries believe that the SEC is on weak ground and that Ripple most likely will get a ruling in its favor. Now, you don't have to be a fan of Ripple, or personally I'm not a fan of Ripple, in order for you to hope that this case ends favorably for Ripple, because XRP is one of the biggest cryptocurrencies by market cap, number 6 at $42 billion, meaning that any ruling that goes against XRP would be a major loss for the entire crypto market, because we have lost against the SEC, which is one of the, of course, centralized entities that cryptocurrency doesn't like very much. And this would be a bad ruling for many cryptocurrencies, as it would rule many of them as securities. But so far, so good, as the ruling does seem to be heading into XRP's decision, or XRP's favor at least, which would be a major win for the entire cryptocurrency market cap. And I believe that if it does end favorably, we will continue seeing even more growth in the cryptocurrency market over the coming weeks and months. Now, let's take a look at the charts and see what's going on. As I mentioned, Bitcoin did recover that, or swipe that supply zone, and then recover and reclaim that multi-month downtrend. Right now, we still have to keep an eye on the 200-day moving average, which in the past, of course, has been a leading bull market support band or support indicator. But the one thing we need to pay attention to very closely is, of course, the RSI, which is the relative strength index. Now, the relative strength index essentially just identifies how strong the current move in the market is compared to the prior move that we've just had. So on an RSI 14, it would compare the current day or the current 14 days to the prior 14 days of the market, since we are on the daily chart up here, as you can see. Now, we've had a very strong move on the RSI, meaning that once we start entering this overbought territory, there's a potential for us to make a reversal. And you can see that this upper band of the RSI does coincide very closely with the 200-day moving average, as well as the second multi-month downtrend that I've identified here that has been on this channel for many months. So we may potentially see a reversal up at this point before we do see a further move to the upside, at least in the coming months. But one thing that we need to keep an eye on that is, of course, very bullish is that we are forming higher lows as we are heading into this market, which I've mentioned many times is a very good indicator. As long as we are not forming lower lows and lower highs, we will be having a continued uptrend to the upside. Now, let's take a look at what is going on in Ethereum. $1 billion worth of Ethereum was burned in January as OpenSea transaction volume spikes. Now, of course, you guys know that I've been speaking a lot about NFTs on this channel lately. And the reason behind that is, of course, I believe NFTs is bringing a lot of mass adoption to crypto and a lot of new eyes to the crypto industry. And this is, of course, exemplified by this news headline right here. So data from Ultrasound Money reveals that over $1 billion worth of Ether was burned in January, a record burn rate since the introduction of EIP 1559 in August 2021. In January, the total volume of NFT transactions on OpenSea hit an all-time high of almost $5 billion. Now, you can head over to ultrasound.money and look at this for yourself, and you can see how much Ethereum is being burned on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. So right now, on the 30-day, as you can see, the inflation is about 0.9%, which means that Ethereum is just currently slightly inflationary. So there's only slightly more Ethereum coming into the market than is going out. And of course, as more Ethereum is used and as more transactions take place on the Ethereum network, more Ethereum is burned, making Ethereum eventually eventually, hopefully, a deflationary cryptocurrency. Of course, Bitcoin is a stable or fixed supply cryptocurrency, meaning that there is never more Bitcoin in existence. So all the Bitcoin that has ever been created at one point, when it does get to 21 million after it has all been mined, will be a flat or non-inflationary asset, meaning that it will increase in value as more people want Bitcoin and there isn't more to be created. Now, the similar thing could happen with Ethereum, as Ethereum eventually either becomes fixed supply or even deflationary, meaning that there's less Ethereum coming into the network or coming into the ecosystem than is being used or being burned. So more people want it, decreased supply, increase in price, of course. Now, you can simulate the merge here, which is essentially the merge from ETH1 into ETH 2.0, which of course was renamed not from ETH 2.0, but rather into the consensus layer, so that we have the transactional layer and the consensus layer for Ethereum later on, perhaps in 2022 when the merge does happen. Now, if you simulate this merge, you'll see that Ethereum does, in fact, seem to be a deflationary cryptocurrency, which after ETH 2.0, the old name, would have a deflation of around 3.3%. Of course, this is just an estimation and a simulation, which at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. If this does end up happening, we will see a major supply shock for Ethereum, and we'll see the growth of Ethereum, or at least the value of Ethereum, skyrocket very, very quickly. Now, we can of course take a look at the growth that we've had over the past month for Ethereum. 4K Ethereum by July, ETH price posts fast recovery to date from a 50% drawdown. So Ethereum of course recovered the fastest it ever has from a 50% decrease in value. So it climbs to a 3-week high, currently sitting at around $3,242. Seeing 4K Ethereum by July is of course very, very possible at this rate. However, we are nearing the potential area where we might have a reversal, as I've mentioned very, very similarly for Bitcoin. Now, we came back down to the mid-range of the range that we highlighted back in May over here for Ethereum, hit the mid-range and exactly reversed into a major, major recovery, I think of around 50% recovery, of course, as I just mentioned, in a very, very short amount of time. That is just a couple days, just 20 days or so, we've had a 50% recovery. But the one thing that I hope you keep in mind is that these swift recoveries, these fast recoveries, have to be played with caution. Of course, when the market moves in either direction, whether it's to the upside or to the downside very, very quickly, we have to be very, very cautious, because those moves do tend to repeat themselves and tend to come back down for those liquidity grabs. Of course, you can see if we go over to Bitcoin and take a look at what happened back in May of 2021, we had this major, major crash to the downside here, where Bitcoin crashed about 50% in just a couple days, 2 days or so, 3 days or so. But we bounced, had that quick recovery. There was a very, very fast recovery, hit that 200-day moving average, and then came back down, slow grind down to grab the liquidity in that supply zone. Now, we might be seeing something very, very similar for Ethereum and many of the altcoins across the market after they've made this swift recovery. So be very, very careful. Keep an eye on this RSI. Of course, if we do see something like this, where we see the RSI either get rejected from this trend line, we could see a move down to the downside. Now, I hope that I'm not correct and that we do have a sort of trend sideways. Of course, we can trend sideways without going down for the RSI to eventually reset itself before we make another major move to the upside. Although I do believe that within this year, within 2022 and perhaps even early 2023, we will see new all-time highs for both Ethereum and Bitcoin and a variety of other altcoins as well that we've outlined many times on this channel. So take a look at the tweet here from Secrets of Crypto. And that's how it's done, boys. Remember how down you felt at the time. Bitcoin has climbed nearly $10,000 since then, and this was only 16 days ago. The game is easier than you think. It all comes down to controlling your emotions, and I should add here, and hodling. Don't panic sell, don't panic buy. Just keep an eye on the market, control your emotions, and then make your moves that way. When the price rises too fast, you take profits. When the price dumps too fast, you dollar cost average. And that is proven to be the best strategy over the past year or two for crypto. Well, at the end of the day, over the past many, many years for crypto, but in particular over the past year or two, when we have these quick, fast moves to the downside. Of course, we saw Ethereum here down 34% in just 4 days. That is a very, very fast move to the downside. If you dollar cost average in there or buy the dip, as soon as it happens, you would have made a quick 50% on your investment just like that. So keep that in mind. Always buy the dips and sell the quick moves to the upside, because generally the market gets very overheated very fearful and very greedy in a short period of time. One thing I do want to identify before we get into some NFTs, of course, Your Mom's House, my NFT project, we are giving away a mutant ape currently valued at around 19.95 Ethereum. This is the first of many of these major giveaways. We do have 3 mutant apes in total to give away. And in order to win one of these, you have to be holding, of course, a YMH key. So you can head over to OpenSea, type in YMH, make sure that you select the one that isn't a scam, that has 2,703 items, and you can purchase one of them here, and you will be able to enter the giveaway simply by holding one of our NFTs. Of course, we did have a recent incident, obviously nothing to do with YMH at all, but some of our holders got hacked and had their YMH keys stolen. This had no connection with YMH at all. It had other projects' Discords got hacked, not ours, and of course, people clicked links and had their NFTs and their crypto stolen from their wallet. So I want to identify that you guys need to be very, very careful when clicking random links and connecting your wallets to random sites, because hackers can very easily submit a transaction that you sign that allows them to drain your wallet at a moment's notice. Now, again, our Discord was never compromised. YMH has been super secure this whole time. We're very, very proud of our security, although it is unfortunate that other Discords that we are not associated with did get hacked. And of course, some of our holders had their NFTs lost. Of course, Cool Cat holders, Bored Ape holders, Bored Ape Yacht Club holders as well got hacked, and many of their NFTs got stolen. However, this is the first and last time that I've said that I would ever do this, but the YMH holders who had their keys stolen, I will be personally purchasing them back and giving them to YMH holders completely out of my own pocket, not dipping into our project funds at all. I just believe that this is a show of confidence in our project, and I do believe that the future of YMH is going to be massive in the metaverse, and that's why I'm taking this bet and buying back these NFTs for our community. But again, I just must reiterate that nothing happened to YMH. We were not hacked, but it was other projects' Discords that got hacked. Now, speaking of NFTs, NFT prices misfire as OpenSea daily active user volume drops 30% in a week. Now, these scary, dangerous headlines might seem very obnoxious at this point, but you need to keep in mind, especially like I mentioned in previous videos, when the OpenSea NFT volume hit a new all-time high, of course, it's not always going to continue going higher. The same goes with crypto. If Bitcoin hits a new all-time high and makes a move, or Ethereum makes a move down to 30% from a new all-time high, that's seen as a bad thing. No, not at all. The market needs to recover, it needs to consolidate, and people need to start taking profits before they re-enter the market on a more cost-effective basis. And that's exactly what's happening with the NFT market. We do need some cooling off here. We've made the highest number of transactions, the highest volume ever in the cryptocurrency or in the NFT history. So it's very, very important that you do have a period of consolidation. And when we see a pullback like this in the market and we see some of the liquidity drying up, it's not necessarily a bad thing. And as I've said, if you purchase what we would define as blue chip projects that are looking to sustain their value long term, you're going to be much more comfortable holding out and sitting through these dips when the volume of these projects drop 70 to 80% over the 7-day period. You have to be very, very comfortable with holding your Ethereum in these projects over the long term. Of course, the volume and the decline in NFT volume after it made new all-time highs is very much correlated with Ethereum making this huge rally, as people are chasing whichever opportunities provide the most return, and people are looking at Ethereum right now to try and get into Ethereum and snatch the profits there. So they liquidate their NFTs, panic sell and panic buy. This is what you should not be doing. You understand what other people are doing, what the emotions of other people are doing right now, and you're able to play against them and make better decisions than this, and not panic and buy and panic sell on a moment's notice. Now let's take a look at what's going on with the Department of Justice seizing $3.6 billion in crypto and arresting 2 in a connection with the 2016 Bitfinex hack. Now this might not sound like very interesting news, especially if it doesn't concern you and you didn't lose any money in this hack, but there is one very, very strange and peculiar thing happening right now. So the special agents were able to gain access and seize more than 94,000 Bitcoin worth $3.6 billion at the time from Morgan and Liechtenstein after a search warrant allowed them to view the files containing private keys to the wallet. Now you would think that if you were a criminal that was able to, at the time, steal $72 million, now with $3.6 billion, you may be more careful than this. But essentially what happened was they uploaded the private keys to their wallets to an email server that the Department of Justice had a search warrant to access. They got the private keys and simply seized the Bitcoin from these hackers. But this isn't the most interesting thing or the strangest thing that's happening, but it's what these hackers are doing. So Heather Morgan, an individual alleged of laundering the Bitcoin, frequently uploaded videos of herself onto TikTok under the username Real Razzle Khan. She raps following rules is for fools. Instead, I work the edge case with my tools. This is one of the strangest things that I've ever seen. Somebody who is a multi-billionaire after hacking Bitfinex, one of the largest exchanges at the time, and stealing billions of dollars in Bitcoin, is doing this. No hate against anybody uploading TikToks and doing weird stuff like this and being peculiar and cringy and whatever. That's completely up to you. It just, something feels very, very strange at this point. And this, of course, is an alleged hacker. I don't know if these people did in fact hack Bitfinex and steal these funds. This is what's happening right now. This is the information that we have. But it's just very, very strange that these are the type of people that are stealing billions of dollars from you. We can see we have a tweet here as well from Nick Carter, who says, this whole thing is a psyop to make us look stupid for being hacked by the most inept criminals on earth. Now, that is, of course, what it looks like at this point, where we have, she's got hundreds of TikToks at this point uploading the strangest stuff I've ever seen. Well, not the strangest stuff I've ever seen. I mean, we've seen a lot of strange stuff on the internet, but it's just quite funny that this is probably one of the largest criminals in financial crime history. So yeah, very, very interesting decision. But now the one thing that we do have to keep in mind, that the Department of Justice now holds about, at this point, I think $5 billion worth of Bitcoin. Now, whether they return this to the people or sell it on the market or do an OTC trade with whales looking to enter the market, I'm not sure what ends up happening with this, but it is a large amount of crypto to be sitting in the government's hands, and possibly does provide them some potential to control the market if they do decide to sell and move this around in whatever way possible. Of course, if they return the same amount of crypto back to the users who lost it in 2016, they would be able to simply sell that on the market, and that would cause a major downturn in the market. Now, perhaps they only return the dollar value of that to the holders, but then the Department of Justice still, of course, holds 72 million minus, or 5.5 billion minus 72 million. So whatever the balance of that is, that's what the Department of Justice would hold. So it is still a significant amount of crypto in the hands of someone who could potentially move the market in whatever direction they would like. I'm not saying that they would do this. I'm just saying it's something to be aware of course. I also want to identify that the Lightning Network is now available on Cash App. So of course, the Cash App, which is owned by The Block, or created by Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter. It's the fastest free way to pay anyone in Bitcoin. Buy tacos, tip your favorite Twitter comedian, or send a friend money aboard anywhere that accepts Lightning. Now, we must remember that one of the first, or the most important reasons that Bitcoin was created was, of course, as a transactional cryptocurrency. And that was the initial intention for it. Of course, it very quickly became a store of value, but the transactional side of things is one very important thing that we need to keep an eye on. And remember, that is why crypto was invented. Now, of course, with the advent of Lightning Network, it makes it a lot easier and a lot faster to do that. And we see apps like the Cash App integrating this as well. So we see the mass adoption potentially of crypto payments, of sending money abroad in a matter of seconds, rather than using something like the Western Union, or trying to swift transfer your money across borders where it might cost $50 to $100. You don't actually know, because of course swift transfers go through a bunch of banks, and you don't actually understand until the transaction is finalized how much you're paying for that transaction. So something like this, cross-border payments with the Cash App now using the Lightning Network, is one of the most important things that we need to keep an eye on here as well. In other news surrounding payments and accepting crypto as payments, Apple, which is very, very bullish, has just introduced the tap to pay on iPhone, a great way for millions of small businesses to accept contactless payments right from their iPhone. It's easy, secure, and will be coming out later this year. Now, this isn't the most bullish part, that they're simply allowing people to make transactions through their phone, but rather is that they're allowing anybody to use their cards in these transactions, meaning that if you have a crypto.com card, or if you have a whatever cryptocurrency card, you're able then to link that to your Apple Pay and make those transactions through your phone, meaning there's a sort of a de facto way to make cryptocurrency payments with your Apple iPhone. This is bringing cryptocurrency and transactions to millions of people across the world if they already use MasterCard and Visa, since of course they have partnered with many of the cryptocurrencies and crypto companies like Crypto.com and Coinbase in order to make those transactions possible. Now, having this combined with Apple Pay to pay your friends and family and merchants with cryptocurrency is a huge, huge thing in my opinion. And I think it's going very, very under the radar right now as a bullish piece of news for cryptocurrency. Of course, we also have McDonald's filing a trademark for the metaverse-based virtual restaurant. Now, I've been speaking about the metaverse for many, many months on this channel as well, and saying that there is a potential where in the future we enter this virtual world and we have virtual shopping experiences. While I personally don't think it's the most important thing, and I don't think that we will be having a major shift in the way that people purchase and buy things online. Like, why would you go into a virtual Nike store and browse around and click a Nike when you could simply look at it on Amazon, click buy now, and it shows up at your door? A very simple and streamlined process. Making it more complex and clunky by moving into this virtual world is not essentially the best thing, but it is an iteration. It's the way that we move and play and build in the space and break things before we eventually discover what the future of the metaverse might be. Potentially when we get to the point where it's a lot more immersive, we can smell, we can see, we can feel things in this digital world. Things like the McDonald's trademarked metaverse virtual restaurant might be more important. But it just does show you that huge industries and huge corporations are taking a look at this world of the metaverse, NFTs, and crypto. And I think we are still very, very early and on the cusp of mass adoption. I've said this many, many times on the channel. Of course, if you've been here for a while, it seems like, of course, crypto is everywhere. But if you actually go out into the real world and go about your daily business, you'll notice that it's not actually there just yet. And we are very, very early. And we see these huge corporations coming into the space. It does give some validation to the crypto space, or at least brings more eyes from the mass media and mass public into the cryptocurrency space. And I think it's very, very bullish. And to end off the video, of course, we're going to take a look at the crypto fear and greed index, sitting very smugly right at the 50% mark, or the 50 mark, right in the middle at neutral, meaning that we could go either way right now. And as we did spend a lot of time, especially the last month, in the extreme fear side of the market, which I've mentioned many, many times, of course, is a very bullish place to be purchasing or buying. And that is, of course, right here after the dip. Once we had this major move to the downside, that would have been a great time to purchase. Right now, where we're sitting on the cusp of going up or down, I would say potentially sit on the sidelines until we do get more confirmation of either moving to the upside or to the downside. I'm not always going to tell you, as I've said many, many times on this channel, I'm not always going to tell you buy, 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 and I'm not always going to tell you sell, sell, sell. There is a sort of general period when one of these decisions might make a better risk to reward ratio. And of course, right now, we're sitting right in the middle. Sit comfy, sit on your bags, and wait until you get confirmation of either way in the market. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and give it a share on Twitter. If you aren't following me yet on Twitter, head over to Twitter. I will tweet this video and give someone who retweets it a $500 payment in Ethereum. If you made it all the way to this video, to the end, please comment down below kitty cat, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye-bye.